A man attacked my fiancée, and for months I wanted revenge. Then she told me one thing that stopped me from becoming just like him. I used to think being the person who always followed the rules made me a good man. Then one Thursday night, my fiancée, Mara, walked into our apartment with a split lip, a ripped jacket, and a look I had never seen on her face. She had been covering the closing shift at a small bookstore in downtown Portland when a man followed her into the parking garage. He grabbed her, shoved her against a concrete pillar, and tried to force himself on her before a delivery. Driver appeared and scared him away. Mara made it inside her car, locked the doors, and called me. By the time I reached her, she was shaking so badly she could barely hold the phone. I sat beside her on the garage floor while she told me what happened, stopping every few seconds because she couldn't breathe. I wanted to smash something. Instead, I asked what she needed. The next morning, Mara reported the attack. The detective assigned to the case was polite, careful, and painfully honest. There was no useful camera angle. The delivery driver had seen only a few seconds and couldn't identify the attacker. The garage gate had been broken for weeks, so there was no entry record either. Mara remembered one detail, a silver ring shaped like a tiny crown. 3 days later, police showed her photographs of a man named Elliot Vance, a popular restaurant owner whose employees described him as charming and generous. He wore the same ring, but his attorney arrived before Mara had even finished her statement. Then things became strange. The detective called me privately and said someone had accessed Mara's complaint from outside the department. Her workplace suddenly received an anonymous email accusing her of inventing the attack. Her manager asked her to take unpaid leave because customers were uncomfortable. Even the delivery driver stopped answering calls after someone offered him a job at one of Vance's restaurants. Mara started sleeping with the bedroom light on. I felt myself changing every time I looked at her. I imagined the man who had done this walking freely through the city. But Mara stopped me one night when I said I wanted to confront him. "Don't turn my worst night into the reason you destroy your life," she whispered. So I didn't. Instead, I started looking for the things everyone else had overlooked. Mara's bookstore had an old security camera pointed toward the rear alley. It wasn't connected to the main system, but the owner had forgotten about it. I asked a technician to recover the footage. Most of it was useless. Rain, headlights, empty pavement. Then at 10:47 p.m., a dark SUV appeared. The driver's door opened. A man stepped out wearing a silver crown-shaped ring. The license plate was visible for less than 2 seconds. It was enough. Police traced the SUV to Vance, then they discovered something bigger. A former employee agreed to hand over a backup phone containing messages Vance had sent to several women who worked for him. Another employee found photographs hidden inside an old restaurant tablet. None showed the attack, but together they revealed a pattern of intimidation, threats, and secret payments. The case changed overnight. Vance was arrested, and suddenly, people who had been afraid to speak started calling investigators. 6 women came forward. 2 had already left the city. 1 had saved threatening voicemails for years. The restaurant's accountant turned over financial records, showing hush money payments disguised as consulting fees. Mara eventually testified. Months later, Vance was convicted on multiple charges. He received a sentence that would keep him away from those women for a very long time. I expected to feel victorious. I didn't. One evening, Mara and I sat on our balcony listening to traffic below. She took my hand and said, "You know what mattered most?" I shook my head. "You didn't become him." She was right. I had spent months believing justice meant making someone hurt the way we had hurt. Instead, I learned something harder. Sometimes winning means refusing to let a terrible person rewrite who you are. Mara still checks parking lots twice before getting into a car. I still notice silver rings, but when I look at her now, I don't see the woman who was broken that night. I see the woman who stood up, told the truth, and made sure the next person would be believed. And honestly, that was stronger than revenge could ever have been. Would you have chosen revenge, or would you have done what he did and refused to become like the man who hurt her?